If you're like me, you're fascinated by old buildings.
You marvel at the thought that when a structure was built, life was dramatically different from what we know. You might imagine the people coming and going through its doors. Men in bowlers and top hats, ladies in long dresses. You may even try to picture the activities within its walls that have all but disappeared from modern life, like laundry being scrubbed across a washboard, or letters scribbled with quill pens dipped in ink.
For people like us, there's nothing more appealing than a house that retains a lot of its original character.
Stained glass windows, abandoned coal bins in basements, and back stairs for servants all evoke a sense of connection with the past.
But for all the romance of those details, there's nothing more captivating than finding objects in a home left behind by its earliest inhabitants. Sometimes it's something small, dislodged from between the floorboards of an attic, like a scrap from a 120-year-old newspaper. Sometimes it's something more mysterious, something larger that was stashed behind a wall and discovered a century later when the owner started renovations. Some people are unmoved by these discoveries, but I'm a history nerd and I find them exhilarating. If you do too, keep watching. We've got some examples of old-time treasures that people have found in their homes in Monmouth County, New Jersey.
When a family was tearing down walls to build an extension on their Oakhurst home, they found a little girl's dress. As you can see, it was rumpled and stained, but you can still detect its dainty floral print. It's tough to guess at the age of the dress because of its condition, and because designs for everyday clothing for children didn't change much for several decades. Some folks have ghoulishly speculated that the stains on the dress are blood, but they could also be water stains. Take a close look. What do you think? The family also found this double-sided religious pendant tucked inside a basement wall. After snapping these photos, the homeowners thought it best to put the pendant back where they found it, just in case it had an impact on their luck. In Ocean Grove, a homeowner gutted their house to the studs, and in the process found this fragile, withered receipt from A.L. White. The purchase? Eggs for 15 cents, and another item, no longer readable, for 8 cents. The date on the receipt has been blurred, but it appears to be from the first decade of the 20th century. At that time, A.L. White's store was located at 17 South Main Street. It stood here in what we now know as the West Grove Shopping Center, where the Burger King is today. Advertisements for A.L. White's grocery store appear in local newspapers from about 1905 to 1910. Here's one of White's ads from the Asbury Park Press, dated March 19, 1909. It appears A.L. White may have moved his location because while the receipt shows the address at 17 South Main, this ad shows the store at 75 South Main, which was here, on the opposite end of the West Grove Shopping Center, where the 7-Eleven stands today. Patricia Kennedy was making changes to the kitchen of her 1892 house in Red Bank when she discovered this cigarette card inside a wall. Between the 1870s and 1940s, cigarette cards were the precursor to modern baseball cards. They were included inside packages of cigarettes, originally to help stiffen the pack, and featured everything from birds and flowers to celebrities from stage and screen. The cards, which were often saved and collected, also served to advertise the cigarette brands that issued them. Kennedy's cigarette card featured Constance Levian, an actress during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. She made her debut in Oscar Wilde's A Woman of No Importance, when it was performed in New York for the first time in 1893 at Miner's Fifth Avenue Theater. Speaking of cigarette cards, an Ocean Grove resident found this pack of cigarettes in his crawl space, alongside a top from a canister of nails, leading him to wonder if perhaps the carpenter was a smoker. Virginia Bright cigarettes were manufactured in Richmond, Virginia by Allen and Ginter. The company was established in 1865 and was absorbed into a larger tobacco conglomerate in 1890. Allen and Ginter commonly included collectible cigarette cards in their packaging. Allen and Ginter were fond of running advertorials, as we'd call them today, advertising that was created to look like a news article. Here's one scoop from a Macon, Georgia newspaper in 1888. Virginia Brights is not made out of the leavings and trash like many other cigarettes. Virginia Brights leads them all. But I get a bigger kick out of this one-line ad from 1889. Virginia Brights cigarettes are cunning. Another Ocean Grove resident found inside her wall a tintype photograph of a woman in a Victorian dress, as well as a report card from a high school student who, in 1944, failed every class except gym. Tintype photographs were popular in the 1860s and 70s when they were typically produced in photographers' studios. Tintype photographs are made of thin, lightweight metal as opposed to paper. While we don't have an image of the photo uncovered in Ocean Grove, this is a reasonable facsimile. Carol Rizzo, a committee woman for Neptune Township, was renovating her Ocean Grove home when she made a quirky discovery behind a wall: a 19th century roller skate. Rizzo's find is a little strange, but not for the reasons you might think. In the past, it was common for homeowners to nestle old shoes between the bones of their houses as a way of warding off evil spirits. The practice of concealing shoes continued in North America until the 1920s and 30s. Considering the long tradition of hiding shoes, Rizzo's discovery may not be that strange. A roller skate, however, is much less common, but more charming. We don't have an image of Rizzo's skate, but we can get an idea of what it may have looked like from this pair of roller skates from the 1880s. If you've found curious old items hidden inside your Monmouth County home, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know if we can share your story. We are Team Renew with Preferred Properties Real Estate.